What's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube page. My name is Victor, and this page is dedicated to helping people navigate their spiritual awakening process. And today's video is my Friday question and answer video I do every Friday, where I answer my subscribers' questions about anything pertaining to ascension, spiritual awakening, etc. I always leave a list of the questions so you can kind of sort through them right down below in the description box. Someone expressed to me, and I'm sure he's not alone here, it's like, listen, I understand what's going on. I'm going through this awakening process. I'm here to help. Great. But you know what? I don't ever want to come back. I don't ever want to incarnate here again. I don't like this 3D world or anything. And frankly, I just want someone to tell me that this is my last time I have to come here. I think we're all with you, buddy. I don't think the way things are now, I don't think a lot of us want to come back. I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm here. I'll do my time. But from my perspective now, the way I see things, would I rather be floating around in the seventh dimensional heavenly realms, instantly manifesting, completely just enveloped in constant unconditional source love and light, and yeah, I'd take that right about now. But at the same time, I'm starting now, finally, after this past year, to really embrace my experience here and see the value of it. And even though it is very challenging, we are quite limited in these physical, dense bodies, and there's a lot of challenges we go through. I still am starting to really see it as a fascinating and enriching and amazing experience, and I think you will too. You'll come to really know why you chose to come here, and you'll be happy you did. And we're all here to experience something that, infinite number, trillions of souls are probably watching in envy that we are here and they are not. So eventually, I believe you'll transcend enough of your darkness, enough of your ego, to where you can come to really be happy here. And again, just value your current experience in this moment now. And when you die, and you don't have to come back, you chose to come here. We all chose to come here. Even people who have really hard lives, they chose that for themselves because they know themselves as an infinite soul. They know that they'd have a temporary, very temporary experience of seeming like they're separate and seeming like this experience is hard, which it is. But they know that on the grand scheme of things, in the face of eternity, it's nothing. And as a big soul, they can look and be kind of happy they had these experiences because it enriches their overall soul's wisdom. This is like the school of hard knocks, the Earth school. A lot of spirits call it the Earth school. One of the most challenging dimensional realities in all of creation. It's for the hardcore souls. It's for the badass souls who really want to test themselves, who really want to see what they're made of. And yeah, just like any really hard experience, in the moment of it, it sucks, but you're always happy you went through it because you see the benefit it has had on you. A lot of people ask me, what is it going to be like when you're fully awake, when we're fully in the fourth density reality, when we've made it to the fifth dimension, the new earth, when we're enlightened, when we've transcended our limitations? What is it going to be like? I can only tell you what it's like for me now. And I can only also tell you that from my experience, all of the things that are changing are continuing to change. It's like a constant unfoldment, a constant expansion. So we're getting glimpses now of what it's going to be like. You're having telepathic communication with your guides. You're having all these cool spiritual experiences, perceiving awesome lights, auras, feeling very a lot of unconditional love within yourself, feeling like your life is on this path of divine unfoldment, and you're feeling yourself kind of shed your old ego snake skin. And I just believe there's going to be more and more and more and more of that. These things will just happen to greater degrees as we can handle them and not go into fear mode. I think in our lifetime, especially the younger people, we're going to experience aliens eventually coming here and maybe living among us, coming and teaching us things. I believe we're going to see the fall of this evil empire everybody's so worked up about. We're going to see them completely crumble in perhaps very epic ways. We're going to see people start to come together, humanity come together and start working together, because people will eventually start to embody higher consciousness and therefore not see themselves in such a opposing way with other people. They won't be so in conflict. They won't have that scarcity mindset, and people will start kind of seeing the writing on the wall and taking action more with the whole in mind. And we'll just see more of that, more and more increasing amounts of that, in my opinion. No one can tell you exactly how it's going to be because we're not there yet. I got a question about someone who seems to be going through a very, like, on the more extreme end of the spectrum as far as physical symptoms caused by just an excess of their Kundalini energy running through their body. It's kind of wreaking havoc in their body. For her, it feels like it's just kind of like all this energy just stuck all throughout her body, and it's causing all these health problems. And she's actually been tested, gone through various testing with doctors, and her family's worried about her. She's got this like condition that doctors can't explain. They're not finding anything, of course. And she's just kind of concerned about it. Quite naturally, man, I understand. And I've experienced this, possibly not quite to the extent that you have, but I've experienced a situation where I knew something was going on in myself. I've gone to the doctor. I thought I was losing my mind. In fact, what it was is I was in like high school. This was before I really awakened, or knew I was awakening. I took this like designer hallucinogenic drug, and what it did, in retrospect, I can now realize it released a ton of my like premature Kundalini energy, and I got this big time pocket in my head. But it felt it felt like the drug I took kind of like messed up my brain, because there's a whole where this pocket of energy was, it felt like it was encompassing half my head, half my brain, and that part of my brain felt like it was like stupid, like it was not functioning. It felt like just a big mass of nothing, no activity going on. That was the experience of it, and I thought I fried my brain. I thought I did something stupid, took some stupid ass drug that really messed me up big time. And I did go to the doctor. I had my parents take me to the doctor. I got an MRI and EKG, and they of course found nothing. And I confessed what I suspected it was to my parents, and of course they flipped out. They were incredibly worried about me. Thought I was just like, they didn't think I was lying, but they thought I was obviously mistaken. But I knew it's such a real experience that you can't help but fear that, wow, what is happening with me? There's certainly something that you just can't ignore that's affecting your life that you want to get to the bottom of, because it's very scary. But for me, it was just my Kundalini energy and my fearful definitions of it. A lot of it's in your head. A lot of times your fixation on, oh, this is happening, I'm feeling this, and I don't know what it is. That keeps it there. That kind of locks it in. If you could just find a way to accept it, and you're going to have little moments where you can accept it, but then your fears are going to kind of retake hold. You just got to like start to train yourself, remind yourself, I'm going to accept this. Even if it is a horrible medical condition, being in contraction and all this anxiety about it's not going to help it either, okay? So regardless of what it is, but I'm 99% sure it sounds like it's just your Kundalini energy, but just accept it. Accept your situation, and that leaves room for this energy to kind of move about. And this is temporary. This is just a sign you are awakening, and if you're awakening, where you're heading, where you're going to eventually get, is going to be so awesome and so profound that you are going to be eternally grateful and not look back with any regrets, and you will see the value in your exact situation, okay? So I hope that helps you. There's also a really good book. I'm gonna go get it for you real quick. This is a book called Living with Kundalini, the autobiography of Gopi Krishna. It's not like a particularly like awesomely well-written book. He wasn't like a scholar or even really much of an author, so you know, I'm not raving about it as like an amazing book, but he went through an extreme degree of the Kundalini symptomology, and this is before anyone knew what the heck was going on, really, especially in the Western world. So it kind of brought me some comfort, and just reading about other people's Kundalini experiences is quite helpful too. So I wish you the best with that, because I know what you're going through. But it has gotten way better for me, and it will get better for you. I've had this question a few times. It kind of pertains to how do you discern whether you're having a Kundalini experience, or it's just like the precursor to sleep paralysis, which is like when you can kind of have a lucid dream or astrally project. A lot of times right before you are able to like leave your body consciously, which is astral projection in a nutshell, there's like a feeling of vibrations. And I don't know what the difference is. Honestly, I don't think it much matters. The way I've experienced astral projection, and it seems to me just like a energetic threshold you cross that kind of separates the waking, normal, everyday waking consciousness from being in like the dream state. It's just like a barrier, a feeling of crossing a threshold or some kind of barrier. Whether you want to call it your Kundalini energy or just simply the sensation of crossing that barrier, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. But a lot of times people get freaked out. A lot of people want to astrally project or have an outer body experience, and they are able to do it, and they get to that point where they start feeling they start like vibrating and having this wild rush of energy, and then they snap themselves out of it. You're almost there. If you're one of those people, just a little side note, you're very close to blasting out of your body, and it's very awesome, very liberating experience. And the energy is a sign you're just about there. So just stay cool. Energy's not going to hurt you, and you'll lift off just nicely. I've kind of gone into this before, but a lot of people are concerned. They read about like the Illuminati. They read about how so much like the mainstream media and the movies and a lot of the things that people hold as sacred within our upbringing, as far as like music, art, culture, that sort of thing, has been kind of tainted by like the controlling forces of the Illuminati. And they find themselves sometimes liking those things, those movies, those shows, those books, whatever. And they feel like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Because I like this, am I being controlled by them? In my opinion, they don't have the degree of control they want you to believe. And I would always say, trust your own ability to discern what is right for you and what is not. If you're watching a movie and it makes you feel happy and you're in a good mood, if you're in a good mood, you're in a high vibrational state, okay? So that movie, whether it's been influenced or not by the Illuminati, is having a positive effect on you. If it's not something you should watch, for one, you're not going to like it. You just won't like it in general. But oftentimes you can perceive how you feel inside when you watch it. If you're watching something that is really not resonating with you, you'll feel it. You'll feel like an energetic dissonance. You'll feel maybe fear energy. You feel a lot of different like uncomfortable negative emotions are naturally going to kind of well up, causing you to eventually just say, you know what, this isn't for me. So just trust yourself. Trust your own experience. Don't worry so much about what you've read or what you've heard. Always validate your own life experience. That should be your primary, number one go-to source of what should I do. Ask yourself. Validate your own experience. Some people are asking, or I had a person ask if you can start awakening very young, at like 5 years old. Yeah, of course. I believe a lot of the people who are waking up now, whether you're 20 or 60 or 80, it's kind of been like a very slow, ongoing process from the time of your birth. Like I can look back now in retrospect and see how sensitive I was, how open I was. A lot of my weird experiences now make sense as just simply like premature, like a spiritual awakening symptoms that I experienced as a very young child. And interesting enough, a lot of the children are coming in now that don't have to go through an awakening. They're already awakened. They're already like in alignment with their highest powerful soul self. And we're going to see a lot of these young kids getting older and then starting to kind of put themselves out there in the world. And this newer generation of children is fascinating. They are very high level, amazingly wise little souls. Not every child, but a lot of them, a very high percentage of them are these high level beings. A lot of people report they're waking up at strange times, like often. Like they'll say they'll wake up at 3 a.m. every single night. Or I'll wake up at 1:11 and then 2:12 and then 3:21, numbers like that, 4:44. And they wonder, like, what is the deal here? In my opinion and experience, that's just synchronicity. It just kind of, your higher self, your guides communicating with you, letting you know that, hey, something's going on with you. You're awakening. You're becoming more in tune with the flow of your own divine timing, your own divine life unfoldment. It's a normal, natural thing. Get used to it. This is how life is going to be for you. It's going to flow kind of magically for you. And we're starting to make you more comfortable with that by doing this. And because you're very relaxed when you're sleeping at night, it's easier for them to kind of penetrate your ego structure. And therefore, it's easy for them to kind of wake you up. And you're just more sensitive to these incoming abilities to perceive your divine grace, your divine unfoldment, your synchronicity. It's just much easier to have those experiences of synchronicity when you're in that really relaxed, sleepy state. So that's why a lot of people are having these things at night. It's totally normal. It's a good thing. People are concerned that they hear a big list of like awakening symptoms. And they're like, okay, well, I'm getting some of them, but not all of them. What's the deal? Why am I lacking in that department? I'm not having this happen or this. It's not like that, man. It's all individual. A lot of people, like I said in a few videos ago, are completely wide awake, total like badass souls, light worker type people, and they probably don't experience any of these weird symptoms. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have your own little list of symptoms that are ideal for your own development, and the ones that aren't really relevant to you and your own soul's development, you won't experience. But that doesn't mean you're lacking in that department. It doesn't mean that you're like doing something wrong. It doesn't mean you should try to change anything so you do experience that. It doesn't mean anything, man. You'll get to a point where you'll be so happy with who you are, what you become, and how your life went. You won't have that desire for things to be going a different way. You'll feel perfect where you are in this very moment now. I get asked by a lot of people like very specific questions about, for example, like the hollow earth theory, the flat earth theory, the reptilians, one of the ET is going to come. A lot of like real specific types of like metaphysical situations and whatnot. And here's my advice to you is that you're not going to find anyone who truly has the answer for everybody. It's more about what resonates with you, what is in alignment with your own truth. And I can tell you, I think more effectively how to catch fish rather than to just give you a bunch of fish every time. So here's what I would suggest. I would just let your inner guidance guide you to the answers that you seek. I always just pay real close attention to how whatever I'm reading or learning about makes me feel. I know for me, a very valuable source for a lot of these types of questions was this book right here. It's Dolores Cannon, The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. And Dolores Cannon is like one of the world's most renowned hypnotherapists, and she was able to bring people, like thousands of different people, into like really, really deep states of their consciousness and go beyond their whole like linear past life thing and into more what I think she called the super consciousness. And this is where she could access this person's higher self. And then she could talk directly to the higher self. And this lady was totally meant to have this role because she was just such a really inquisitive lady. Just all of these questions, just like almost in an annoying way, like one after the other. And she's spent her entire life asking these questions to these higher selves of various people and putting them into books. She has a series called, I don't have one here, but it's called The Convoluted Universe. And there's like 5 or 6 of them. And they're like big, 500-page books filled with questions and answers. She just, the way it's written is she has her question and then there's the answers, like verbatim. And for me, when I was reading about this one in particular, the 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth, many years ago, it resonated with me so deeply. The way I would experience it, I would read about like the New Earth, the fact that we're going through an ascension process, we're moving to a new dimension, a new Earth, us, me, you. There are people who chose to come here to help raise the vibration of the planet to accomplish this whole new Earth move. And it just resonated with me so deeply. I literally would tear up. I would well up with like tears of joy, like a lot while reading. My heart would be filled with like love and excitement and enthusiasm. And I get like the taps I get on my limbs for my guide. There's all these like synchronicities would just explode in my world when I was like learning about this stuff. It just felt really awesome to learn about this. So that's how I determined that this is truthful to me. It's going to resonate with me. It's likely going to unfold in my own little reality bubble. And that's what I would recommend you do. Just trust your perceptive ability to decide, how does this information make you feel? Does it sound like off, like you just don't quite buy it, or does it make you feel that inside? Does it excite you? Lastly, and I will make a separate video about this, I get asked all the time, like, how do you meditate? So I'm going to go over a few basic things, and I'll give you an actual specific meditative thing, meditation practice you can do starting today, okay? So a couple key things. Keep your back straight, whether you're laying down or sitting up. Some would argue that sitting up is better because you stay alert. The idea is to not fall asleep. You want to relax, but stay in a relaxed, alert state, okay? Kind of keep your spine straight, chin tucked. Just breathe. I recommend just sitting upright for about 10 minutes a day and focus on your breathing. Don't really try to control it too much. Sometimes you'll find you can more easily breathe really deep and have low, slow, like relaxed breathing. Other times you're going to be more shallow and maybe a little more uncomfortable, and that's okay. Some days you're going to find that you can really easily go into the meditative state. Other days you'll feel like you accomplished nothing. Normal. Just the idea is being consistent with it. It's as simple as that. Again, I'll go into more detail in another video. So that's all for this week, guys. Go ahead and feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. You can also hit me up on Facebook. That might be a little bit more of an efficient way to get a hold of me because I'm getting so many comments now, and I do my very best to answer them all, but I just can't anymore. You know, I put in like almost an hour a day answering comments. So I would recommend, if you really feel strongly about having me answer your question, keep it relatively short, to the point, and leave it in both in the comment section and on YouTube, because I do check those all the time still, and also find me on Facebook. There's a link below in the description box. And every time I make one of these videos, I always feel like it might be one of my last ones as far as a question and answer format. It's kind of a pain in the ass to edit and whatnot, but everyone likes them, so I'll probably keep doing it. I'm on the fence. I'm debating on just taking questions more on an individual basis and making separate videos about it, maybe a little bit shorter, just so the viewers can be able to more easily scan my videos and see their question rather than have to like click on all the Q&A videos and read all the 10 questions or whatnot. So I haven't decided. You guys can let me know what you think. Would you rather me have perhaps more frequent videos but shorter and to the point, specific to one or two questions, or just continue on as we're going now? I want to help you guys and deliver the information as effectively and efficiently as possible, and that's my intention. So whatever, I'll let you guys be the voters. And I'll leave you with one little thing. Not to say don't leave questions, because along my journey I had a gazillion questions, and it was very helpful when I could find answers to that. But here's one thing I learned along the way. Almost any question I have now, I sit quietly and ask myself. I just ask myself. You'll be surprised sometimes at what comes through. Not always is it like a voice in your head saying, well, the answer is blah, 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 blah. A lot of times it's just you'll get like vibrations, tinglings in your body, just certain emotions and moods and just like states of being you'll kind of sift through. Sometimes you'll be able to just sit there for a couple minutes and like tune into the answer that's already there. Your answers are there, and if you say a question or ask a question and I answer it, that's just your own way of talking back to yourself, as crazy as that sounds. So when I answer your question, you're answering your own question through me. And sometimes that's the most efficient way of answering your question, just simply asking a guy who you trust, they answer it. But sometimes if I can't get to you, or it's only Monday and you don't want to wait till Friday, then try asking yourself. Just a tip, just something I learned along the way. With that, guys, I will close. I appreciate all your love and all your support and all your awesome, positive and loving comments. It's very touching, and it's a real blessing to have so many dedicated and loyal fans and subscribers. It really is a dream come true for me. So thank you, guys. God bless you all. Peace.